Ladies and gentlemen, today we have in the studio a man whose idea can change the world. 80 years ago, Soviet and American soldiers shook hands on the Elbe, laying the foundation for peace and cooperation. What if today we could revive that spirit and build a bridge, literally and figuratively, between Russia and the United States? Grigory Pelman, founder of One Future Forum, will tell us about a project that will light beacons of hope for all mankind. Grigory, you have the floor.
Friends, imagine this. 80 years ago, on April 25th, 1945, an event that shook the world took place on the destroyed bridge over the Elbe River. Soviet and American soldiers, having gone through the horrors of war, embraced like brothers, united by one goal: victory over evil. It was not just a historic moment, it was the spirit of Elbe, the spirit of trust, friendship, and cooperation. And today, decades later, we can revive it. On April 15th, 2025, TASS reported sensational news. Public figures from Russia and the United States sent a letter to Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump urging them to sign a joint statement for the 80th anniversary of the meeting on Elbe. Edward Lozansky, president of the American University in Moscow, proposed the unbelievable. What if Donald Trump comes to Moscow on May 9? Imagine the leaders of the two great powers shaking hands again, like those soldiers on Elbe. We in Washington are doing everything we can to make that a reality, and I urge you, the viewers, to support this idea. Let's work together to convince the leaders to meet. But this is just the beginning. At the Spirit of Elbe Bridge of Trust, Friendship and Cooperation Forum, we showed that good relations between Russia and the United States are possible. We remembered how people's diplomacy, joint projects in culture, education, sports, and business can unite nations. And I want to ask you a question. What if we built a real bridge? A bridge of peace between Russia and the United States? I propose a project that will change the future. A memorial and transportation complex across the Bering Strait, connecting Alaska and Chukotka, Eurasia and America. It's not just a tunnel or a bridge, it's a symbol. At the entrances, we will erect lighthouses of the Earth's blue sky, majestic domes shining like the sky of our planet. These beacons will be a symbol of the unity of humanity, even as we become a multiplanetary civilization, establishing colonies on Mars and the Moon. The idea, championed by the great Chinese science fiction writer Liu Cixin, author of the bestseller The Three-Body Challenge, has already inspired millions in 2021, and now we will bring it to life. The history of this project goes back to 1890, when Colorado Governor William Gilpin first proposed connecting North America and Eurasia. In 2008, George W. Bush and Vladimir Putin discussed this tunnel. In the first cadence of President Donald Trump's approval of a $22 billion rail project between the US and Canada, it's the perfect time to revive the Bering Bridge dream. Experts say it could become a reality by 2040. This bridge will not only be an economic anchor for Russia and the US, but also a true bridge of peace. And that's not all. At the forum, I suggested that we approach Kirill Dmitriev, CEO of the Russian Direct Investment Fund, and Elon Musk, head of the US Department of Government Efficiency, with the idea of creating a Russian-American humanitarian fund called Spirit of Elbe. We will realize projects in economics, culture, and education that will unite our peoples. Remember the Soyuz Apollo program, a symbol of peaceful coexistence. We can repeat this miracle. Friends, the Spirit of Elbe are not just words. These are values. One planet Earth, one common future. Survival and harmonious development of mankind is possible only on the basis of common values. Let us light the beacons of the blue sky of the earth, which will show the way to unity. Join us. Together we will build the future that the soldiers on Elbe dreamed of 80 years ago. The Spirit of Elbe lives on, and it calls us forward.
Now that's an idea that takes your breath away. A bridge across the Bering Strait, beacons of unity, and the revival of the Spirit of Elbe. This is a project that can unite the world. Support Grigory Pelman's initiative. Share this video, post on social networks with the hashtag Spirit of Elbe, One Future Forum. Together, we will make the future brighter.